Hi, my name's Anthony, and today on Playtest we're going to go over the character creation for Crown and Skull. We're going to go over everything from the templates to character creation to the companions to magic to everything that you need to know to create your first fully fleshed out character. Whenever you want to create your character in Crown and Skull, you have two different options. First off, you can either choose from one of the templates from the book, or you can create your own with points buy. I definitely recommend just kind of, at least if it's a one-shot, just kind of doing one of the templates because it is, pretty straightforward. However, this video will focus more on the points buy aspect because that is pretty damn cool. However, if you do want to use the character template, it's super easy. First off, you're going to pick your hometown. Then you're going to pick a template, whether you want to be a cleric, an adventurer, things like that. After that, you'll have a series of character prompts just to kind of flesh out your character, kind of give them a background or story, things like that. This should take you 15 seconds. However, let's go ahead and get into the points buy system. Crown and Skull has a really cool way of building your character. It's going to give you 50 hero points. Hero points are both your currency to upgrade your equipment or upgrade your skills or purchase things. It's the currency in this game, and it kind of counts for everything. You can purchase weapons and upgrade them to, be deadly or have extra attacks, have spells to have bigger range, your armor to protect you even more. It's pretty fucking cool, but word of advice, the points do go quickly. So let's go ahead and build a character. I kind of have an idea of what I want to be as a character. I really like the Fraudkin in this, and I kind of want to be like a falconer with a companion that kind of does stuff for me. So that's what I'm going to try to focus on. First off, for step 1, you get awarded 50 points. Congratulations. You get to spend these points however you like. You can put them in your skills and your core abilities and your equipment and your magic, pretty much anything that you can use that you use your points for. Be very careful. Now, what's super neat about this system is its flaws. So in both your weapons and your magic and yourself, you can get flaws. Flaws award you points. So for example, when you're creating a character, you can have a maximum of 2 flaws. Later on, you can have a maximum of 4. Every flaw you take, you get an additional 5 hero points. Pretty cool. I kind of want to use this as much as I can, so I'm going to go ahead and take 2 flaws. Now for my flaws, I'm going to go ahead and pick addict and bad reputation. So I have a specific vice I can't deny. If I can't get my fix, the GM will ask you for a roll of attrition in some form. My bad reputation, I've done things, terrible things, and people know about it. So this is gonna kind of fuck me up in the role playing. I'm completely okay with this. Any flaw I can take, I'll get. So now from 50 points, I'm up to 60. Next up is my core ability. Now core abilities are optional, however I definitely recommend them. They're really powerful abilities that your character can have, but they cost 15 hero points. Now again, they are optional, but I am gonna go ahead and take one. Now since I know I kinda wanna be like an outdoorsy falconer, druid type of guy, I'm just gonna pick druid. I'm a master of wilderness, gain the tracking and hunting skills for free, each at 9. When outdoors, gain +3 on all skills. So that's really fucking cool. Now let's go ahead and pick our skills. Skills is your attrition. Attrition is your health. Attrition, I guess, is also your skills plus your equipment, but attrition is your health. The more skills you have, the more equipment you have, the more health you have, because every time you take damage, you cross off a skill or you cross off an equipment, depending on what type of damage, but most of the time you can choose. So right now I only have about 45 left, and I can't, max out a skill because then I'm gonna be super weak. So it's a pretty good balance system. So with skills, you can have up to 10 with a minimum point value of 3 and a maximum of 18. Now, if you watch my other video about the core concepts on this, or you know a little bit about Crown and Skull, you know that if you do not have a skill, you cannot do the action. So if you don't have the jump skill, you can't jump. If you don't have the medical skill, you can't do a medical check. So you gotta be very careful. You really want to figure out what you can do. So what's cool about our druid skills, we automatically have the tracking and the hunting skills. So that's easy peasy. That's, that's 18 points for free, which is really neat. It kind of gives us a little bit of bonus. I really like that. So for this, I'm gonna add 10 to animal training, 5 to forage, and 7 to jump. This is gonna leave me with 23 points left to be able to buy my equipment or to add spells or anything like that. That makes it so I have about 5 skills, which honestly, I'm pretty happy with. And because of my druid skill, if I'm outside, all of these get increased by +3. I'm feeling pretty damn good. Equipment, you can completely customize. It's really cool. So there's a whole system in here on how to customize your equipment, how to customize your spells, your swords, your guns, your armor, a bunch of different shit. Now there are some limitations on armor, but it's super simple. All it is you can only wear 1 piece of armor per, body part. So for example, if you have 2 helmets in your inventory, you can only wear 1 of them. If you have 3 different, bracers, you can only wear 2 of them. You can still use them as backup armor, so if something is destroyed, you can go ahead and re-equip that, but just know that to your defense stat, it is only what you are currently wearing. Weapons are straightforward, so you have different tiers, D4, D6, D8, D10s. For 5 points, you get things like firearms, so that is pretty cool. However, it is a lot of points to spend into a weapon, so you're going to need to play around with what exactly you want to be. For my purpose, I don't really want that. I'm gonna have a bird do stuff for me. But let's talk about the cool stuff, the customizing that stuff. So anything that you get, you can customize. Just like your character itself, your weapons can have flaws and they can have different, upgrade paths. So for us, we took 2 flaws, we got 5 points each. For this, you can add limitations to your weapons or your gear, and it gives you 3 points. And then just like putting on flaws, you can put in cool effects. Those effects cost 3 points, so you could, to kind of keep it even, purchase like a dagger, put a limitation, put an effect, you got a 1 hero point weapon, and you can do that for pretty much whatever you want. Now, all this stuff can be done when you're creating your character. However, you can do this when you're outside of character creation, when you're out in the world. All you need to do is kind of find a smithy or an artisan, anything like that, that kind of makes sense, and you can upgrade everything. You cannot add limitations though, so you can't add more kind of shitty stuff to it to bring the cost down. Once the limitation is there, you can't add on. All you can do is upgrade. You cannot stack upgrades, however you can add all the upgrades that you want just once. For my armor, I'm just gonna go ahead and pick some greaves in the leather vest. Greaves give me a +1 bonus to my defense. Leather vest gives me a +2. However, it does say in the notes that there's no protection against blunt force, so if I ever do take blunt force, I can't use that defense. Everybody starts with a base defense of 6. Anything added on top, that's fantastic. So for me, I'm going to have base defense of 9, which is pretty damn good. I'm pretty happy with. I'm not gonna be too much in combat. I'm gonna try to stick back as much as I can and kind of go in when I need to. So a defensive 9 is perfectly okay with me. In terms of weapons, I also don't want to carry too much with me. So all I'm gonna pick up is a walking staff and a short sword. They both cost 1 point each. The walking staff is D4 damage and short sword is D6 damage. So I'm happy with that, but let's go ahead and put some limitations and kind of upgrade these just a tiny bit. So for my short sword, I want it to be a little bit special, so I'm gonna go ahead and add bleed. So after inflicting damage, target bleeds same damage D4 rounds. That's pretty cool. However, I don't want to have this take up too many of my points, so I am going to go ahead and put a limitation on it. Let's just do wonky. This gear has silly or unexpected malfunctions. The GM will referee as needed. So this is going to add a little bit of chaos to what I'm doing. However, this weapon does do a little bit extra stuff, but since I had a limitation and I added a upgrade, it kind of does me a net balance of 1 point for this weapon. I'm okay with that. Next up is spells. Spells, just like weapons, can be customized. It's a super cool system. So for this, I think I will use a spell. However, there are some things that you need to know. Spells, you get a one-time use of them. After a one-time use, once you rest, you get it back, but you only have 1 use of it. You need your hands to be able to cast it. You also need to be able to verbally say a word for it. And the range, you need to be able to touch something. All these limitations are important because as you upgrade your spells, you can kind of cancel these out. So for example, you can make a ranged spell so you don't need to touch it, or you don't need to be verbal about it or use your hands. So let's go ahead and pick a spell for us. For us, I kind of want to pick Summon Vermin, attract a swarm of local pests. That seems right for me. Kind of playing a kind of druid kind of character. A basic spell is going to cost 3 points. However, kind of discuss this with your GM if you are allowed to use a custom spell for when you're creating your character. Some will say yes, some will say no. Kind of depends on the GM that you're playing with, but just double check with them. If they're not okay with it, just pick a basic spell, pay 3 points, that's your spell. However, if they are okay, here's how you customize spells. And this also applies for when you have a spell that you want to customize later on. A customized spell can have limitations and upgrades just like in weapons. However, the rules are a little bit different. Instead of not being able to stack any effect, you can stack up to 3 times a single effect. You're also able to add limitations, which is pretty neat because you're able to, get more stuff, take more weight as it goes, since, spells are very flexible. This is pretty cool. For this example, let's go ahead and say that our GM is okay with custom spells. So let's take our Summon Vermins and see what we can do to upgrade it. So what I think would be kind of cool is if we added the Levitate. So for example, whenever we summon our swarm of vermins, we're just gonna levitate off the ground. This is kind of neat, so let's say, we give them the command to eat everything around them or you bite everybody's ankles. If we're levitating, that's fine. Of course, you could tell them not to bite you, but who knows how well you're gonna do in your animal training skill. This also makes it kind of a funny situation where it's you need to levitate over something, you have to summon some rats. I don't know, that's kind of cool. So right now we are at 6 points since the basic spell is 3 and then an upgrade is 3. Kind of want to reduce it, so I think I'm going to add the limitation red speech. This just means I have to shout when I cast it, so I have to be like, rats! I don't know. I'm okay with this, at least for now. If I were to want to kind of upgrade this or I'd change out limitations, all I need to do is find a safe space and just kind of work on it. There is magic skill, however this is mostly used for infernal and kind of unstable magic. These are very powerful spells that you can use. I definitely recommend it if you're going to be kind of like a more wizard guy, but it is not needed unless you're going to cast these spells. Now that we talked about magic, let's talk about our companions. So I already know that I want to kind of have a falcon on this. So a falcon is going to cost me 5 points, and I'm completely okay with that because this is going to be the main mode of, you know, my role playing, my attacking, my looking over things. Now there are different point companions. There's 3 points, 5 points, and 12-point companions. 3-point companions, things are like ferrets, rats, snakes. 5 points, dogs, cats, falcons, and then 12-point companions are things like tigers, wolves, bears. Now, depending on which tier that you pick, you do get stat blocks. So for me, a 5-point companion has D6 attack, so if you roll a D6, that's its damage. 2 skills that I get to pick, value 9, 9 defense. So it gives me its stat blocks. Now, for the 2 skills, on the next page we have companion skill list. I get to pick 2 of these. I'm gonna pick the skill attack and the skill report. Now, just like everything else, you can upgrade everything. I'm definitely gonna pick deadly and evasive. So I'm gonna upgrade my companion's damage to an additional dice, sweet, and this creature gains +3 defense. So now instead of 9, it has 12. So now if I did the math correctly, I should have 3 points left over. That's not a lot. I can go ahead and rearrange things if I like, however, I kind of like where I'm at right now. So with these 3 points, I can either save them for, you know, to purchase new things like throughout the campaign, or I can just go back to the equipment and purchase some more stuff. I think that's what I'm gonna do, that way I can kind of help my health a little bit since I'm not looking too great. I think I will pick flint and steel, lockpicks, and climbing gear. Now I've spent all of my points, I should be good to go. Last thing to do is to pick your lineage. This is your race. Currently there are about 5 races. You have humans, elves, stout folk, proudfoots, and frogkin. For this, I kind of want to be a frogkin. They seem kind of cool to me, so that's what I'm gonna pick. Other than that, that is everything that you need to be able to create your character. It's a really cool way to build a character and putting in flaws. I love flaws. I don't like playing a super powerful character because that gets boring after a while. I want to have challenges and I want to overcome them. And this system does a really good job of doing that. So I think I'm gonna use this character for my next campaign. It was super fun to build. And I hope you learned how to create your character and found that it is not that difficult at all. You don't have a billion things to track. You have a single sheet with just the basics on it. It's a super fun system. I definitely recommend it. Thank you for watching. Definitely check out our first video if you haven't already about just the core concepts of this game. It's incredible, it's incredibly simple, and it's just a lot of fun. Thank you guys.